Welcome back, Strong Lung fans. Here's an episode where Fango is on a crazy thing, or this is where this episode's gonna open with the Zarvok, because of course this is another Lunerboonie episode. It's actually the 29th episode. Now I only have one more episode after this, so yeah. This is like gonna be this is gonna be the one before the last one, whatever you would call that. Like the one before the last one. I don't know what that's called. But yeah. This is a 29th episode. The 30th one is the last one, but that one's gonna be after this one. Oh, and I want to let you know, I got snow over at my house. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah. And then, so yeah, here comes this episode. So yeah. Isn't that pretty neat that I got snow at my house? Yeah, it's pretty great. Also, I want to tell you that this girl, her name is, well, that's not her. I'll get to her name soon. She's called the Zarvok, and she's got big horns. And she's got green eyes. She's got this power. You can see she's got a vest on. She's wearing like a closed type vest, like a closed one. And yeah, she's wearing glasses as well. She's got an orb right above her head. Like it's coming from her horns. It's like that white and green thing in between her horns and above the like ball above her, like her little hair knot or ball, whatever it's called. And then we see she's getting ready to attack me. Now, Fango, but yeah, of course I'm using the deleted idea pictures, which I really should be replacing the giant Fango with a mecha suit. Because, yeah, I came up with that idea while I was at a festival. I thought that maybe, rather than Fango turning into a giant to fight the Lunerboonies, I thought maybe it'd be better if he used, like mecha suits to fight them. And I loved that idea. You know? Kind of like Pacific Rim, you know? Yeah. I probably told you that in a few of the other episodes. You know? But yeah. Fango. Hold on a minute. I'm thinking of something. Still thinking. Okay. I apologize for not podcasting there when it was on pause. I should have paused to do that part, but yes. But anyway, but yeah, I know that happened in the other episodes, and I know, I'm sorry I refused to edit them, but I just thought that maybe YouTube would have done it for me. Well, I don't think YouTube really is, though. But yeah, this episode opens with this girl destroying, let's say she's, like, destroying Weberton. It's going real crazy coconuts in Weberton. People are saying, "Run! There's a monster!" They're saying, "Run! Giant monster is attacking! There's a giant monster attacking Weberton, attacking our city." That's what they say. And then Fango shows up. Not for long. And we hear the people shout, "Fango!" They say, "Fango!" And then Fango shows up and attacks and then he pushes her and then she ends up bumping her head on a tower crane. So like, ugh! And then her horns falls off and then they crack. Her horns falls off like, and then she gets up and she's like, she tries to attack Fango, but the crane comes back at her and knocks and hits her in the head so hard that she just doesn't move. Yeah, she's just defeated. Fango's like, well, that was easy. And they all cheer for Fango. They say, thanks, y'all. And then that's when before he returns home, we hear Hacker tell him in his mecha suit that there's another Lunerboonie attack in the city. Or, like, it's heading towards Netbur, and he says, oh gosh! And that's when we cut to the Lunerboonie heading towards Netbur. And that's when we see her attack, and again, first thing we see, the military sees her coming, they start attacking her, and then she screams. She's got like this creature is known as the Screamer. Yeah, I know she kind of looks like Pac-Man, but she wasn't really meant to look like her. I just designed her. I actually meant for her to look more kind of like have like a dinosaur type mouth. Well, just like a little like mouth shaped like that, just like a cartoon type dinosaur mouth. And she's like, and you see she's a red lady, and she screams. She's got like this shockwave scream, and she's like, ah! She's like, ah! People are screaming. Oh, they don't scream. The scream pushes the military. It's like a sonic blast roar type scream. It's like pushes the tanks, destroys a few of the buildings. It even knocks over the clock tower, and then Fango shows up very quick, but this time in another mecha suit. Now this is the episode where you see a whole bunch of left turn signal water towers get destroyed. You actually see this is like the city that has all of its left turn signal water towers destroyed. Some of them weren't like exactly completely destroyed.
Terry, you stink so bad.
Hold on. Yeah. Oh yeah, and speaking... Wait, did I tell you snow? No. I think I did. This is telling them on my podcast. But yeah, anyway... Sorry, I was telling my grandma that I told you that it was snowing. Well, only if I did tell you. But yeah, this girl... Yeah, first thing we see happen, we see Fango pushes her into a gas station with a left turn signal water tower behind it, and then the explosion from the gas station knocks over the water tower, and it crushes on, and it falls onto a parking lot with a whole bunch of cars, and that's when we see a cement truck crash into it, ah. And then it swerves, but it swerves, but it still hits it. Well, like as it swerves, it tips over and still hits it. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, or let's say it didn't really tip over. It just hits the water tower. Yeah, the person slams on its brakes, but the truck still hits the water tower after it falls. And that's when we see her get mad at Fango. She tries to hit Fango again. This time we see a whole bunch of cars crash right around her, like around them as they fight. Well, they just collide into like one another. And that's when we see her grab a tanker truck and try and hit Fango with it. Hold on, I'm podcasting. Sorry, guys. I was hoping I wouldn't have to tell her that I'm podcasting still, but I really do. But yeah, the Screamer grabs the tanker truck, tries to hit Fango with it. He's like, whoa! He ducks down, and then it hits another water tower. The one that fell, the first one we see fall over, is actually a multi-cone. And that's when the one she hit with the tanker truck was a Taurus bottom. She hits a Taurus bottom with a tanker truck, and then she's like, she's hitting, she's trying to hit, she's trying to, she was trying to take out Fango real good, trying to take her, and after we see the tanker truck hit the water tower, it explodes and puts it actually puts a hole in the side of it, and the tank starts leaking water out of it. And then Fango's like, what? And Fango's like, what? He's like, Fango says, that's gonna need some repair. Let's say Fango just says, he just says, that's gonna need some repair.
It's not.
And then he says that, he just says that about the, like when the water tower gets hit. So yeah, after Fango says it needs repair, even though he doesn't mention the fact that the truck hit the water tower, he just says, yeah, all he says is that's gonna need repair. That's all he says. But then she comes, he says, but we're not done yet, he says, and then he fights the Screamer again, and the military starts attacking her. She grabs, and then once she gets shot by a tank, she grabs the tank and throws it at Netbury's radio cone water tower. She throws it at a radio cone water tower, which also explodes. Well, the tank explodes and also pierces a hole in the water tower. That's when we see her get pushed into a left turn signal water tower. Is actually like the old-fashioned water tower. It's this kind of water tower. It's this kind. You've seen this quite a few times. But yeah, she gets pushed into that water tower. It falls, and then that's when a helicopter starts shooting at her. She knocks it out of the sky, and then it hits a hydro pillar. But it's actually this kind of hydro pillar, because I want like the helicopter to like smash through the column and like come out the other side and like crush like police cars. Like it crushes like police cars that were like surrounding the area around Fango and the Screamer. And that's when we see her like say, that's when we see Fango say, "Oh no, this isn't over yet." And then that's when we see her grab a train. And that's when we see her grab a train, like a freight train. It has a whole bunch of like tanker cars and like she tries to hit Fango with it. Some of the train cars hits Fango, but it doesn't damage his mecha suit very badly. But yeah, we see some hits a few buildings and hits a few cars, and we see some hit the doubly ellipsoid water tower of Netbury. That's also left turn signal, the left turn signal doubly ellipsoid water tower. And that's when we see the net starts falling apart, and that's when we see this very big water tower, which is, it's actually this water tower, this type. It's I don't know what this type is called. It's like a hydro pillar and doubly ellipsoid together, or like Toraxe bottom. Like it's like a it's like a hydro pillar and a Toraxe bottom together. And then like he throws that at her, or not throws that. And then the train itself and a few of the tanker cars, like two of them hits like three of them, like three tanker cars and the train itself hits that kind of water tower and its riser column, and like the entire column breaks apart, and then the tank just comes crashing to the ground, and it shakes the ground, and then Fango's like, what? He says, ah. And then a fighter jet shows up and shoots at her. She's like, ugh! And then she screams and she screams at the fire jets, and then the fire jets gets screamed right, and the scream knocks them out of the sky. And then that's when we see the fighter jets hit the water, like the composite left turn signal water tower. It's a composite water tower that got hit, and then it falls as well once the fighter jet hits it. And that's when we see Fango get up, and then she grabs a spheroid in the left turn signal water tower. She grabs it. And then she actually hits Fango with it. She like hits it like like she uses it like a baseball bat or a giant mallet, and then she or like a big hammer, like, and then she hits Fango with the water tower, knocks him to the side, and then she like swing like. Or yeah, I think we should say, like, she just, like, throws it. I wouldn't say throw, but she, like, swings it right over her head and, like, hits Fango, just slams it right onto him. But then he punches it and, like, punches the side of it and knocks it out of her hands. And then we see it roll across the ground and crush a few houses and cars. We see it smash into a substation. She's not done yet, neither is Fango. But he's like saying, we're not done yet. They're still fighting. And like they're still in the middle of this big crazy fight. And then she knocks over, and that's when she pushes him right next to a turtle bottom, which is this kind of water tower, and then she throws a school bus at it, and then it explodes once it hits the riser pipe, and then the tower falls, and then it hits like half of it crushes Fango, and then we see half of it crush a fire truck and 2 police cars, and then they explode as well, and then let's say the cement truck also exploded once we see it. Well, I shouldn't be cutting back. I shouldn't be, like, going back to a part that we're not on anymore. But I just want to tell you that maybe the cement truck actually does, like, catch on fire once it hits, like, the water tower. Like, the first one that got destroyed. But yeah, that's what... But we gotta stay concentrated on the scene we're on now. I was just kind of, like, trying to, like, add another idea to that scene. But yeah, once after the water tower falls on Fango and the 3 emergency vehicles, we see she's like kind of cheering for herself, but then Fango gets up and like out from underneath the water tower, and then pushes her and then picks her up and grabs her by the feet, and then he like kind of like throws her and like holds her behind his back, like the back of his mecha suit, and then throws her right over over his head, and then slams her onto a computer tower, which is actually another tower I made up. Yeah, I made up quite a few new towers. Or did I tell you that yet? I'm not sure. But yeah, one of my new towers. Yeah, and then the very top of the tower, like the antennas, they pierce like right through the skin of her chest, and that actually comes out of the back of it, like her upper back, it comes out of there, and that's when we see the tower fall, and the computer tower actually falls and knocks over the last left turn signal water tower. Fango's like saying, "Whew, thank goodness that's over." Fango says, "But oh," he says, "Yeah." And then Hacker tells Fango that there's another city being attacked. He says, "What? Not again?" He says, "Gotta go." Everybody cheers for him, even though their left turn signal water towers are destroyed. Well, not all of them. Well, 2 weren't, too badly destroyed. And that's when we cut to these fellers. These sand, dust monsters, sand creatures. You can see one's a male. I would just call them sand specters. I call them the sand specters or whatever. Yeah, I thought it'd be cute to name one Sandy, because they're all made of sand. Well, you can see one's a kid, maybe. Don't know if the little one. Yeah, you see the 3 wearing pink has numbers on them. And we see. Yeah, the blue one, not sure what that one's name should be. The male. We see them attacking. Let's say they were attacking Storm Hill. And then Fango shows up and then And then they start. Then Fango attacks back, and then he's like, "You'll regret this destruction." And then that's when we see them. Or let's say this battle is in like Soapmont. He says, "Oh, I see them. They're right here." And then that's when we see him grab a gas tower, which is similar to an oil tower. Yeah, the oil towers are much different. Gas towers just has gas. I mean, they're explosive as well, but not quite as dangerous as oil towers too much. Well, probably, but hey, because these ones can actually be put out with water, perhaps, maybe. And then he throws the towers right through them, and then the explosion hits their energy core, which destroys. Well, let's say he took one and hit let's say he hits the one with the one wearing pink that's the number 2 on her top, and then she gets her energy core damage. Well, the other 4 that's when we see the leader, which is the one in the blue. We hear him say, "We gotta get out." And he says, "Run!" He says, "Go, run!" Yeah, he didn't defeat the rest of them. They just ran away. Uh-oh. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. My little robot Vector fell off the counter. I had to save him. Had to get him back up there quick. At least he didn't break or anything. That was the first time he fell from a high height or whatever. Or I wouldn't say high. Or whatever. But yeah, that's when we tell. That's when we hear the blue. Let's say the one that's wearing blue, the Sand Spectre, the male Sand Spectre who's wearing blue. He says, "Let's get out of here! Run!" And then they run away. After we see them destroy parts of Soapmont, and then Fango says, "That's it." He says, "Yeah, get out of here." That's when Hacker tells Fango that there's another Lunerboonie. That's when we see these girls. Now, yeah, these are I'll just call them these are 2 poltergeists, kind of. I called them twin, poltergeist twins. I'll just call them the poltergeist twin girls. Or the poltergeist twins, and they are attacking. They're and they're pretty much trouble a lot. And then Fango, let's say he grabs this highway. It's a highway control tower, or maybe let's say it's I don't know. It's let's say it's we could call it a highway control tower, or I don't know what it should be called. Let's say it's a military control tower. Probably that's what it should be called. So yeah, that's the one he defeats them with. Let's say these girls were attacking Farmport. Or maybe let's say they were attacking Hornview. And then they were saying, "This is fun!" And they were just laughing. And they were just doing it just to be mischievous, or something like that. And then, isn't a poltergeist supposed to be a mischievous ghost, or what? I'm not sure. I'd say probably the Ghost Fairy would be a poltergeist, one of my other Lunerboonie. But yeah, these girls, maybe we could call them something else. Or just some other type of monster. We could just call them let's call them the Plasmers. Yeah, we'll just call them the Plasmers. yeah, and then they're just like these mischievous glowing figures, like female figures that just has like old like jack-o'-lantern looking faces, and they're just trouble. I mean, they're adorable, but Fango had to use the highway control tower to defeat them, or yeah, we'll just call it the highway control tower or whatever. Maybe it's like a crowd tram type. Maybe it's like for crowd trams, or we could just call it like maybe just a special type of communications tower. I'm not sure. Maybe we could call it maybe let's call it like a security tower. Yeah, maybe like some are like looking. Maybe they're for like tracking, like it's like a highway security tower. They're for like, or I don't know. Yeah, it could be cool. They're for like making sure no one's breaking the law on the freeway. Yeah. Unfortunately, Fango had to use that to defeat the plasmers, and then they go down like, yeah. Sorry guys, I got food in my mouth. Give me a second. So yeah, Fango is, so yeah, once he realizes he sees them destroying Siltmont, spares them with the highway security tower, or whatever I should call it. Oh, my cat's here. Oh, maybe my cat should wait before I go down there and embrace it. It's one of my favorite cats, but hey kitty, you're gonna have to wait. Yeah guys, see, I want to concentrate more on this than my cat right now. Just like my cat. I'll give it just a few pats. There you go, kitty. Yeah. See that? It's how you work a podcast, okay. Okay, sorry about that, but got in my brain again. But yeah, after he defeats these girls while they weren't expecting the tower to go piercing through their chest. Let's say it did I? Yeah. Was I mentioning something? Wait, did I already mention their death? I think I did. But yeah, I just had to start it over again because I just forgot. Because I didn't know if I already mentioned their death yet or not. But yeah, it strikes their core and then they go they explode. And then he gets told that there's another Lunerboonie. He says, ah, crap. Fango goes after her. That's when we see this lady, the Levithan lady. Yeah. Yeah, let's say she was attacking Penford. Like at the harbor. She was just wrecking up the harbor. She was pulling, like, she destroys the bridge. Or let's say, yeah. And she destroys the suspension bridge of Newark. It's like, the bridge falls. You see a whole bunch of cars, like, fall into the, like, bay. And debris from the bridge fall into the bay as well. And then that's when Fango grabs her tail. She's like, ouch! Let's see, I forgot what he used to defeat her. I might need to go back and check. So yeah, okay, I saw that he uses an aircraft carrier to defeat her, and he grabs that and just slams it right onto her, like, ugh. But yeah, she thinks like, I won't let you get him. Says, take that, you twisted monster. I don't care if you're a male or female. Yeah, let's say he fights her for a little bit, and then he grabs the aircraft carrier and just slams it right onto her. And then after that, he gets told that there's another Lunerboonie, and then he goes after it. This Lunerboonie, this one, she's called the Rexler. Starts with a, well, she's actually, it's meant to start with a W. Yeah, the name starts with the W. It's called the Rexler. It's like a robot type looking girl. She's got like 2 antennas. One looks like a spoon and the other looks like a fork, kind of. Let's say Fango, like, destroyed her with a storm tracker tower, another tower I made up. It's maybe we could do yeah, and then, or he could defeat her with or let's see, hold on. I think I already used the guard zeppelins on, or like crowd zeppelins on one of the Lunerboonies. Let me check. Okay, I didn't see which one mentions crowd zeppelin, so I guess she should be the one we see a crowd zeppelin come in. Then we see they're trying to hit her. And he says, "I got her." He says, "Here, take the crowd zeppelin and hit her with it." He says, "All right." And then it hits her, like, right in the face, and it, like... This is in Key Groove. This battle, let's say this battle was in Farm Port, and then she gets struck in the face by the creature. This could be a Key Groove battle. Let's say she actually says, "Ow." She just says, "Ow," when she gets struck. She doesn't completely break down yet, but after she says, "Ow," she breaks down and stops working. Yeah. It's funny when she says, "Ow." Once she gets hit in the face by the guard zeppelin. And if she hasn't been hit, if we already have a Lunerboonie that gets hit by a guard zeppelin, then we should probably hit her with, let me see, it's, we could do like a guard zeppelin control tower. Yeah, it's actually it's called a zeppelin control tower. Strong lungs. It's actually for blimps, and it's called a blimp control. We call it an airship control tower because it's actually meant for it's actually for like blimps and crowd zeppelins. Yeah, crowd zeppelins are what Strong Lungs invented. They're like more better and futuristic versions of airliners. You know. Yeah, like the thing with crowd trams. Crowd trams are like a more futuristic version, like bigger version of like metro buses. They're much better. And that's when we cut to this girl. She's called the Toraxe. And the Toraxe. Yeah. She's got horns and a tail, like a reptile tail. She's got yellow hair and an orange outfit. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. She's already knocking over 2 villains. I should have added like a dust and like fire or explosion detail, like smoke type detail, but oh well, it's fine. Let's say this battle was taking place in Farm Port. I didn't mean for her to... she's... I know she looks pretty big. I probably shouldn't have made her that big. Let's say she's like a little smaller than that. Or no, let's say she's pretty... Or let's say she's just a little... She's like only like... She's attacking Farm Port. She's like... Argh! She's attacking it. She's like... Well, yeah, she's just destroying things. Let's say this tower Fango uses to defeat her is it's called It's yeah, it's called a. Let's see. I think we should call it like I gotta think. It's just it's like a type of strong lungs, like a communications tower strong lungs invented. Let's call it a. Let's see. Looks like it's we could call it a power plant tower, maybe. Well, no, I don't think so. Uh, Let me think for a moment. Or let's say he uses the like storm tracker tower, like he uses the storm tracker communications. Let's say he uses that tower to defeat her. Yeah, we can stick with that tower. Yeah, or did I already do a Lunerboonie? I don't think I did a Lunerboonie being hit by the storm tracker tower. But yeah, he defeats her with that. It's like, ugh. Or let's say she was terrorizing Lantern River. Let's say that the Gargoyle battle takes place in Farmport. And here comes the Gargoyles right now. And then Hacker. And then that's when we see. So yeah, here's the Gargoyles. Actually, I want to add 2 more though. So there's 4. Say the little short one's supposed to be a male. Perhaps. Here's the first 2 Gargoyles. Alright, here's the other 2 Gargoyles. The one I forgot to add a nose to. That one's actually a male too. Yeah, we got 2 males and 2 females. Right. Yeah. Yeah, we got 2 males and 2 females. So yeah, yeah. You know, that male doesn't look too scary. The female one looks a little, spooky looking. Now, these ones aren't too scary in my opinion. But yeah. Here, I have an idea. Here, let me do this. Let's get this together. Here, let's get it together. Alright, y'all. Those Gargoyles gives me. No. There we go. Sorry. Oh no, I was updating it right in front of you. Guys, I am totally sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to update it. Or was it even recording? Well, I just have that up just in case I was updating it while it was still recorded. That's why I had to say sorry about that, as you can see it right there. Well, I'm about to take that off soon. Let me take it off right now. There we go. Well, at least Gargoyles got fixed, so yeah. But yeah, at least it still looks cool, but yeah. This is when Fango gets home, and then as night falls, and he says, "Hey, Hacker, I'm home. Not sure what's going on in there." That was pretty strange. It wasn't there. Never mind. Pretty strange. Sorry, I just saw like a strange like flickering lights in that house from like across the street from mine. It actually it wasn't like across the street. It was like on the on the corner, like across the corner to the other from my of the intersection of my house, or however I say it. But yeah, these girls are these Gargoyles. They're like, so yeah, Fango, he says, but like right as Fango sits sits on the couch to watch TV with Axel, Dimey Axel last night, should have said. So yeah, Fango, he notices these girls when he doesn't notice them yet, because we see Hacker says, "Oh no." Fango says, "What?" The dream gate opened again, said Hacker. And right after Fango got comfortable, he says, "Oh man, not again." Well, I'm probably... And Dimey, Axel, and Austin says, "Oh man. Don't worry, guys. This time I'll take you with me." He says, "Oh, really?" "Yeah." And when he leaves, he finds this, like, big, strange cathedral-looking thing. It's like a huge clock tower that was never there before. Yeah, it was like a clock tower that... Yeah, it was a strange clock tower. Says, "Well, that's strange. Never saw this before." Yeah, it was like a big, like, cathedral tower that just came through the dream gate. And it had 4, like, gargoyle statues on each corner of it. Ugh, they were huge. Clock tower was even bigger than they were. He says, "Maybe we should probably go." He says, "I'll meet up with..." He says, as they're looking around, he says, that's when we see... He says, you see like an old time lapse, like it fades from one scene to another. As they're looking around, still curious. And then after that, he says, "Maybe we should go home now." He says, and then Dimey, Axel, and Austin agrees. He says, "Yeah, it's kind of scary." And that's when we see like a storm approaching. And like we see like it's nighttime. Or we just see clouds in the background pouring. He was like, "Hey, you guys ready?" And well, that's when we cut back to their house. That's when we see the 4 strong ones. Or yeah, the 4 of them. There is 4 of them. Fango, Dimey, Axel, and Austin get... He says, "Let's go!" And that's when we see them. We see, once they turn on the TV, he says... We see this, they say... The show we're about to play is called... let's see, maybe, let's say it's like a show that Dimey, Axel, and Austin really likes. I don't know what it should be called. Or, let's say it's called okay, dog, sorry. Don't mean to get distracted with the dog, but yeah. It's called, let's say it's called Superstar. Or no, let's call it, or let's call it something. I don't know what to call it. Let's just call it, like, maybe let's say, let's say it's the Elephant and Pig show. He says it's Elephant and Pig. He says, "Woo! Jeez, I like that show." But like after we see them after we see the happy reaction to them, that's when we cut back to the clock tower. We see there's storm clouds in the sky, and we see the clock towers being struck by lightning multiple times. Or like the big tower that they found, it's going like yeah, and lightning's just striking it. It gets struck by lightning multiple times. Okay, and then once we see them, that's when we cut to the statues. Let's say we cut to the statues of the ones like the ones you see in the top right or top left corner, like the one on the left. Like yeah. Here, I'll tell you which one is which by point. Like, let's say it cuts to this one. Yeah, and this one's the male gargoyle. Yeah, this one's the male. This one's also a male. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, that's when we cut to the female, like the one. So yeah. Yeah, we cut to this one with the female. We see that they're still in statue form, and when we see a flash of lightning, we see all four of them. We see her get struck by lightning, and then her stony body. We see the statue break, but then we see on the inside, it's a real gargoyle. We see her wake up. She's like saying, "I'm." Well, she doesn't really say it. She's just acting ready. She's just acting like she's ready. Well, she doesn't smile or anything. Because she's a gargoyle. She's not very nice. She just glares and squints like it's like an evil squint. Sorry about that. So, Fango is like saying, "Quiet, everything's normal. They're watching TV." And then all of a sudden, sorry about that again. Sorry, I'm doing that now. Yeah, so anyway, Fango is, he's, yeah, he's, like, still watching TV, and then all of a sudden, we see he's just minding his own stinking business, saying, "Hey, great time for TV," but then, all of a sudden, we see hackers saying, yeah, we see like them like enjoying their show. We only see it for like 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden we see hackers show up saying, "Fango, there's trouble." Oh no. Is it Lunerboonie trouble? And then hacker says, "Yes, it's Lunerboonie trouble. Get out there and teach those Lunerboonies a lesson." Says, "Aye aye, hacker." And that's when Fango gets in his mecha suit and says, "Be right back, guys." He says, and then we hear 3 of them say, "Go, Fango!" That's when he realizes that there's 4 gargoyles attacking the city. Let's say they were they're attacking Farmport. And you're like, "Ugh." He says, "You're not gonna wreck Farmport much longer, you gargoyles." See, it's funny when you see him in his mecha suit. His mecha suit's pretty crazy. Say it's got like, says, how would a gargoyle like to be beaten up? They're like, see, that they fight, and then all of a sudden, let's say, well, this battle actually has to have like the crowd tram, or let's say there's like a big like lake in Farmport, and it's like
And then they start fighting. They start knocking over structures. We see them knock over a few streetlights. We see it storming in Farmport. And then we see them still fighting after they destroy parts of the city. They destroy cars and trucks and left turn signal wars. Or I didn't mean to say cars and trucks. I meant like cars and buildings and left turn signal wars. I mean, yeah, of course, they also knock over power lines. They also knock over the street light towers, which isn't fun. And let's say that he pushes one into a transmissions tower, it knocks out the power. Someone thinks doesn't realize there's a battle. He says he's watching TV. He says, "Ah, gosh, that darn storm. Ah, dang that darn storm. I was just trying to watch TV." He says, "Actually, that's what I was waiting." He says, "Ah, dang that darn storm. I was just waiting for it to knock out the power." He was just waiting. That's what he said. It's pretty funny, by the way. But then all of a sudden, he's like, that's when we see. Yeah, he thinks the storm knocked out the power, but it wasn't. It was the Gargoyles, he said. Fango's still fighting them, but then last thing he does once they get on him, then he shoots. Say, this mecha suit has laser eyes, as well as a few of the other ones Fango used before. And then once they attack him, that's when Fango says, "You're in for a treat, kid." He says, "You're up, kid." Or he says, "You're up, kids." That's when he grabs the crowd tram. He says, "Get in." Let's say he just tells them to get in the line. They're like, "Eh." They get in a line. He says, No, get in a line. Like this. Here, turn around. Let's just say they just kind of like get in a line themselves, and then let's say Fango just hits each one by one, like, and then he throws the tram at the last one. He says, "Ah!" Which is, let's say he throws the tram at the one you see on the right. Like the female, like the one that's not in the corner. The female that looks a little scary to me, but at least is cute too. Well, she gets hit and then says, "Ah!" She falls, hits her, and we see the crowd tram land in the lake. And then it falls. And then it falls into the water. The storm's still going. Unfortunately. And that's when we see her. That's when we see. Yeah, and then the tram falls into the lake. That's when we see a flash. And underwater, we see orange flash underwater, and then an extra splash because the tram explodes underwater. Well, we stay above the surface when it does. We just see the flash and the extra splash. Something like that. It was like, we see like he says, and that's when we see like the steering wheel come up. We see like we cut to underwater, but we don't show like the debris from the street. Like the crowd tram, except the steering wheel. We see the steering wheel coming up. That's when we cut to underwater, but we don't show the other, like the rest of like the camera angle's pointing up at Fango as he's looking in the water. The street tram as we see the steering wheel coming up. And then we see it coming. He says, "Well, that's street tram's history." Or crowd tram. He's just looking at the. Yeah, we don't show the crowd tram because the camera angle. Like we cut underwater of the lake, but the camera angle, the angle's pointing up at Fango. And then we see the steering wheel coming up. And that's when it comes out, and Fango's like, okay, now it's time to go home. Or before he says that and leaves, he says, well, that crowd trams history. He says, gotta. That's when he leaves, but. And that's. Well, we see that the storm's still going. See it. We see there's still like thunder and lightning, and the rain hasn't. Well, let's say that maybe the thunder and lightning has stopped, but it's still cloudy and it's still raining. Let's say it's still raining. Maybe let's say that the thunder and lightning is over, but not the rain, or the rain, it's still raining. Maybe like the clouds still cloudy and rainy, like it's still like raining. The only thing that stops is the thunder and lightning. And that's when we see. And that's when we get a time card that says the next day. That's when we see Fango show. We see Fango cleaning up his mecha suit. He says, hey guys. He says, hey Fango, what's up? Hey, I'm just cleaning up my mecha suit because his feet got muddy last night from the rain. And good news is, look, I got a whole bunch of rewards. Yeah, we saw you. I got my, or let's say before he gets his reward, he finishes cleaning his mecha suit. He says, that's better. Oh, Fango, there's a reward for you. A whole bunch. He says, oh, this. Oh, really? Here, let me see. He says, oh, look. Now that is a ton of rewards. And once he puts them all up in with his collection and says, well, now those are one cool rewards. And then Hacker says, they certainly are. And then the episode just ends like that.